Hey everybody, Dr. Quinn here, and I'd like to go over week 2 review for you for writing 393. Okay, so you can see that we're going to examine a little bit more about personas. We're going to look at different resources for writing instructions. The personas are all about, it's like pre-writing exercise that's built toward the actual instructions document. And then, of course, we're going to talk about these PARC concepts: proximity, alignment, repetition, and contrast. And then we'll help you think about the design aspects of writing assignment number 2. So let's dig into the learning resources. Okay, so we've got multiple pages here. Sometimes students forget to tab over in the learning resources this week. So don't forget to tab over. You've got a bunch of things to look at. I don't think any individual text is overwhelming, but there's that Personas in Writing by Matt Eland. And then we've got a bunch of different resources for you here. Skim them and use them as necessary. Okay. We also have video tutorials on tips for writing instructions for a website. You can couple that with the announcement that I had posted a few days ago with my review of the student sample for Banana Blossom Cafe. Okay. So just take a look at this. And then on page 3, you will see these library videos that are to prepare you for the research that's coming up in the weeks to come when you're going to be doing some hybrid assignments. So we're just doing some groundwork now. There's a lot to look at, but do 2 or 3 of those links a day, and I think you'll be fine and you'll be able to retain them. Try not to cram them all in at the same time. The discussions for the week have to do with becoming familiar with those PARC concepts. You can see here as I scroll down the page that you're going to have links to each of these concepts. Let's just open up proximity for a quick example. And you'll notice that in this website link here, and there's going to be a video that goes over each of these concepts, but proximity is keeping information bundled together when the information is related, right? And then, of course, we go back into the other concepts. Alignment, if we go back to this one, you can see that this is aligned. This document is aligned on the left margin. There's the consistency in alignment. Repetition, the same design, the same font style repeats itself. So that's good repetition. Sometimes you even see repetition in color schemes. And contrast, white background, black text. It's harder to see contrast when there's not as much distance between colors. So the gray has less contrast with the white background. The black and white do. So darker colors on a lighter background or light colors on a much darker background and help with contrast. So we're going to go over all of those, and those are ideas that will help you think about what's the most pleasing design for your instructions document that's coming up fairly soon. But it's not coming up this week. Just your Personas final submission will be this week. So you have time to build that, and we have time to work on it together. You'll even look at the James Bond 007 museums to get a sense of how you can talk together and how you can compare your notes with myself and your classmates on the PARC concepts. Okay, and then remember in the reading resources, we saw those library tutorials. Here's where they come back into play. They're repeated here for your benefit. So take a look at them, and you've got a scenario where you're going to be practicing that, because I'm going to be a real stickler in the assignments to come, not writing assignments 1 and 2, but later in the term, for when you're doing these hybrid academic/technical texts, that you have the opportunity to use the library databases, and we do peer-reviewed academic journal content research. So those are the discussions that you'll participate in. There are 2 this week, like there were in week 1. The final assignment that you're submitting is the 3 personas, and if we go to the assignment, you can click here and go to it. I'm actually going to open it in a slightly different way so I can show you the assignment setup in addition to like the assignment overview. Coupled with the assignment rubric. So the assignment overview is pretty short and sweet. You're going to write 3 personas to prepare you for writing assignment 2, the set of instructions. You should access sample papers, and you can watch the video that reviews it. The video that was pre-imported, plus the ones I created in last week's discussions, and I double posted them in the announcements. Okay. Become familiar with the website on which you're writing the assignment, and then you're going to create the personas. Here's what's needed for the personas: a summary, obviously, the website itself, the goals for the persona, and one unique situation or pain point. Let me recommend when you do the summary of the personas that you have wide range. If they're all digital natives within a couple of years of each other working professional jobs, you're not thinking deeply enough about the different types of users who, for example, may shop from this boutique or order from this cafe. You may have much younger users, much older users, blue collar users, white collar users, people with all different sorts of skill sets, and perhaps maybe even some a particular disability that they may need to help them use the site. Maybe there's an issue with the reading of the content on the site, or maybe there's a health concern with an allergy and an ordering. So you can have different range for different users based on, user needs. Okay, so when we go back into this assignment itself, let's take a look at the accompanying rubric. So along with all of your assignments comes a grading rubric, and this rubric is pretty short and sweet and to the point, and it's telling you the categories or what we call the criteria of each gradable feature. So do you have 3 personas that have a summary with their name, occupation, location, and age? Boom, yes or no. Do you mention the website? Like, do I know which website? That gives me an early opportunity to make sure you're using a local institution, not a national or international chain. Then, do the personas feature the goals? What do they want? And then what's their pain point? Do they not have a credit card? Do they have an expired gift card? Do they have the allergy pain point? Do they have a time issue pain point? Do they have other special ordering or something like that? Okay. So we've got those categories. And then finally, language choices. Language choices has to do with grammar and mechanics. Remember, you're writing this, you're taking an advanced technical writing class. You're writing both in an academic space for credit, but I'm also reading this to make sure the text is accessible and readable for a general audience. Imagine you're working for that company, that small business that you're creating the document for. Would they want to publish this on their website? Is it that accessible? And important features of this: are you writing in full sentences? Are you capitalizing the first letter of a sentence? Are you using punctuation in a general sense that's accessible? Now, for writing assignment 1, this isn't exactly the document they would post on the website, but I certainly keep that in mind for writing assignment 2's actual instructions. So, I hope this week we've introduced it well, and if you have any questions, you don't hesitate to send me a quick email, and we can always set time to talk during office hours later in the week for sure. I hope everybody's having a really good day, and reach out if you have questions.